Hi everyone, Aldbar here. This is my solo walkthrough and guide to the level 14 heroic quest, Desecrated Temple of Vol, on the Elite difficulty. Enjoy. This quest is located in the Upper Necropolis. This is part of Necro 4. This is the heroic version of this quest. The epic version is basically the same thing. Although the epic quest giver is located up and to the left from here. This quest is also one of the flagging quests for the heroic Abbot raid. When you step into the orchard, you're going to jump to the right and down. You can see it all the way on the map, and it's actually very easy to get there. All you need to do is follow the river. If you're doing this on a mount, it won't even slow you down. When the river turns, you'll take the right. Basically, if you can continue following the water, you'll get all the way to the quest. Out of the 4 flagging quests, this is probably the easiest one to solo. This is the most straightforward and I guess overall simplest quest.
This once magnificent Temple of Vol was ravaged by the Black Abbot's forces.
Also, stick around to the end if you want to see some video making insight by me.
The interior of the temple has suffered just as greatly as the exterior. The catacombs are sealed by 2 intricately locked boxes.
Here our first objective is to get 2 keys.
The hallways here have been crushed by the force that destroyed the temple.
Okay, here we've got these traps that go down the hallway. So, you always want to stand in the center or off behind other 2 pillars. Now these blade traps have a certain area where they can damage you. If you run between them, you'll be hitting hitbox of both. So the goal is to run, jump over the one right in the middle, and land in the one right behind it. So you'll only run through 1 trap. As you can see, I'm staying either to the far right or left, or right in the middle. That way I don't get pegged by the flaming arrows that are coming down the hallway. Over here we've got a whole bunch of shadows and a quell. If you approach slowly, you can get some of the shadows to spawn first before you spawn in the quell. So try to get rid of the quell as fast as possible.
This key will open the first of the sealed locks.
There are 2 collectibles in this area, actually 3. The altar, one underneath the stairs, and one over here to the side. These traps are visually bugged. That means even after you disable them, they still move, but they don't do any damage.
The only way forward is into the swampy muck. A long hall extends ominously before you.
Here we've got two traps. There's the traps around the little alcoves, and the fire darts are coming down the hallway. We're just going to pass all the way to the end of the alcove and then deal with the traps on the way back. If you notice, there's 3 waves of bolts. They fly at you 1, 2, 3 and stop. And you can actually time it and jump over them.
These keys will open the lower catacomb.
Once you've got the key,
Paul's followers
you can see that all these traps have now been disabled. But you can still search and disable them by hitting the boxes. This is just for the scorecard. Doesn't actually do anything now. Yeah, that's it. Now we got our 2 keys and now we can proceed.
The seal shudders and opens the depths of the temple.
This is a one-way pass, so
Air pours out.
if you want your shrine, you better do it now. Also, please hit like and subscribe. Thank you.
A voice echoes in your mind. Summon forth the Quell Seal Keeper and meet your death.
Here we have these 5 clay golems, and once we kill all of them, it will spawn a bunch of quells. This place is the place that most new players die. Also, I just got over here a curse that prevents me from healing, so make sure you get curse pots to get rid of it. Here I'll show you my method of dealing with this. I just stand off to the side over here when I kill this clay golem, so that when they spawn, I'm not visible. So
The Quell Guardian launches its deadly assault.
here you want to go to the red and go after the red name Quell as fast as possible. This can be serious trouble. Here you can see I just got quelled.
The Quell
This
explodes,
basically prevents me from using divine
the catacombs
healing.
are open.
In other words, if I'm a cleric, I can't heal myself. Here I'm going to try to use my healing hands, my Aasimar healing hands, but I can't because that's considered a divine spell. But I can use my lesser vigor or my lesser healings as a ranger who are not considered a divine spell. So there's always options to heal, but if you are purely a divine healer, you're in trouble. That's why I try to get rid of quells as fast as possible. If you're doing this with a hireling, he won't be able to
Lost
heal
in
you.
prayer, the high priest bows before the altar to Vol.
So we've got to clear out these tunnels, and we need to find a whole bunch of orange named vampires and kill them. But I'm going to first clear out the way to the shrine.
A statue to the Lady Vol, lich mistress of these vampires, dominates this room.
The breakables here are part of the quest objective, well, an optional quest objective. But they also spawn shadows, so if you don't want to fight, don't break anything. if you want the quest objective, you're gonna have to break out. Okay, here, right across the shrine, we have a optional. This is the optional who's specific for this quest, who gives you your special chest, so to speak.
Vol's voice whispers in your ear. Turn back.
The Necropolis 4 has an optional side quest that allows you to collect tapestries, shield fragments, or tome pages, and they used to drop exclusively in these special chests. Now I believe they drop in all chests, but they seem to still have a higher drop rate here.
Dust and dark fog spew from the portal ahead of you.
And here we have to fight a whole bunch of inevitables. Don't worry, they're not as tough as the one from VOD 3. Quick note, as soon as you kill the last inevitable, you'll be teleported out. So if one of these happens to be a champion and drops a chest, you better pick it up before you finish killing all the rest of them, because as soon as the last one dies, I mean as soon as he dies, you're out of here.
As the final inevitable falls, you are returned to Eberron.
There we go, got myself a shield fragment. Also, it's easy XP, so I might as well do it. Now we're just going to go around the map and clear it out. We need to find the orange named vampires. Those are the ones that you need to open up the way to Vol. To open up the way to the High Priest. Being a full guide, I'm going to do my usual and get all objectives. You can see this gate is closed over here. There are random locations where the gate closes, so every run through will be slightly different. So if the way's blocked, you'll just have to go around from the other side. This is not a very complicated map, so you're not like going to get lost or anything. Here, I've done this little roundabout. Now I'm going to go to this part. There's like 3 little loops, you can think of it. One to the right, one to the left, and one on the bottom. This room has a whole bunch of vampires in it, and there's actually a little fun safe spot right over here. This is not really necessary, but I find it really funny. They all do the same thing. They run up the stairs, try to come get you. But the AI, instead of jumping over the gap, does exactly the same thing every time. Just runs and falls down. So they're going to keep it running in this endless loop. I don't know, I find it entertaining. Yeah, I'll just go down and finish this.
The visage of the lady grins from the ceiling.
Did that one. Now we're gonna do the bottom ring. Then we'll only have to do the left ring and we'll be done. Okay, these are the named vampires we need to kill.
An orb shines soft blue light on several menacing statues of Vol. The last offering explodes in a shower of rubble.
I'm just gonna clear out this little passageway that spawns these rats. And then I'll go back to where I was before. Of course, I'm just doing this so I can get my conquests and kills. Yeah, this is the third ring, and that's it. We should be heading towards the exit. As I said already before, out of the different Necropolis quests, at least in the fourth chain, this is probably the easiest, especially if you're a new player. I remember being a new player and having a really hard time doing any of the Necropolis quests, and this was the first one that I completed by myself. And I was way underpowered and I survived. I would say that if you've got a terrible reflex save, you're probably going to be in trouble with the trapped area at the beginning. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward. The other two choke points are the one with the quells, the red named quell, and also the end fight, we'll be getting to in just a minute. Here, so I've got one of these randomly closed gates, so I guess I'll have to go around. Just checking there's nothing in this hallway before we go to the end. Yeah, all clear. Let's do this. See, now the way is open. The fight starts after you talk to him.
The High Priest sneers and orders his honor guard to end your lives.
The vampires over here can do this Constitution debuff. Kind of like in Ghosts of Perdition, where they can deplete your Constitution, and if it goes too low, you'll become helpless. But they barely hit you, so 1 or 2 points of that of Constitution, it's not going to destroy you, but still it's a thing to keep an eye out for. Don't let it go too low. You might find yourself incapacitated.
The High Priest congratulates you. He will stand with you.
There we go. I've got myself a little one of the sigil pieces. There's a total of 8 you need to complete a complete sigil. So this is the chest that drops the sigil pieces. The one at the end of the chest in the quest. Yeah, so that's it. Pretty straightforward. You can just double recall and go return your quest. As always, if you've enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. Now for those of you who wanted to see some video making insight. A lot of times when you record a video, there's things that happen who make you scrap the video. And this can be really frustrating because you can have a really good run with very good footage and very interesting moves and plays, and everything looks like really good, and then you have to scrap it because of one mistake. So in this particular example, we have one of the big no-nos when it comes to video making. If I mess up and I waste time or do things that are not fun to watch, they can be forgivable if there's something to see on screen. But in this particular case, I'm messed up and I did one of the unforgivables. So, in this case, the unforgivable that I did was I forgot to make sure I had blindness immunity, or at least blindness removal potions, and I got hit with blindness. And there's one thing that you cannot do is have a video of 3 minutes of blindness, of just black, dark. Well, it might be engaging for you, trying to figure out and trying to survive. For the viewer, this is unwatchable. And you can't just cut the footage if you're trying to make full runs. So in my case, I had no choice but to restart. So in spite of the fact that I had a perfect run when running down this hallway over here, and I jumped all the traps, and it was a perfect example, textbook example of how you're supposed to do it, I ended up having to scrap it. Well, oh well. Anyways, thank you very much for being a true fan, staying all the way to the end. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.